guys, welcome to Table Talk with Sal. And today I'm blessed to have someone super influential, someone that I have deep respects for. His name is Peter Dutton. This guy loves working, man. Here you go, brother, man. Man, I was having the hardest time trying to get this guy not to be working for the shot, dude. What's up, Pete, man?
What's up? Well, I got a lot of work to do. let's get on with this, man, because I got stuff to do. I'm a busy guy.
Man,
You see all this? You think it's going to clean by itself? No.
No, man, we need to get you some goats out here to help get you
How
some
about
goats.
some llamas?
Some llamas?
Llamas, not hamas. What's a hama?
No, I said hama. I said llama.
A yama.
A yama?
A yama.
Yama my hama. Yamaha, you see? Peter Dutton, man. So, dude, I met you at Screamville. Up in for people that don't know what Screamville is, it's an event that Springville hosts where young content creators are, just making films and whatnot. And you started off your film with a poem, right?
Yeah.
What was the name of the poem?
Elder Speak.
Elder Speak.
Yeah, the film was Elder Speak too. Yeah, I don't think the poem really had a title because I just wrote it in a few days. But I think it's Elder Speak. That was kind of the whole theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really took me out for a trip whenever you were doing your speech, man.
Yeah.
You told everyone to close your eyes, and everyone's a little scared too. But I jumped right in. I was in that journey with you, brother, man.
You were the only one. Everyone else was on the edge of their seat, and you were sitting there so gullible.
Dude, it's like if you would come up with an ice cream truck, kind of give me candy when I was a young man, I definitely would have gone in the ice cream truck with you.
Yeah. You did.
I definitely did.
You went in a metaphorical ice cream truck.
Facts, yeah. You're crazy, dude. No, sick, man. I'm just, honestly, thank you. Thank you for having me and my crew, Pedro and Marcos, up here in your sanctuary, your home, man. This is amazing. I love this. This is what you've built. We're gonna have some brief film, so people can see what you've created here, and it is a sanctuary, I would say. I feel at peace here. I feel comfortable. Is what made you want to build something like this?
Well, we used to have an old shack there, and we had that shack there for like 30 years, and I tore it down. And then we could get a much better view because the shack wasn't there. We could see the river better. And I said, well, I'm going to make a fire pit. So I just started with a fire pit. And then it just kept growing because we've had these gazillion big old boulders here that somebody pushed them here a long time ago. I have no idea. And so I had the material here, and I work with stone. I'm a stone mason. And I just thought, well, gradually, we're going to not just do a fire pit, we're going to do a hinge. Like a hinge, like Stonehenge.
Yeah.
A hinge is like a temple, but it doesn't have the kind of Christian connotation to it, that turns people off.
Yeah.
Or a shrine or a temple or something like that. I've kind of struggled with what to call it and how to define it. But hinge, I think I'm kind of settled on calling it a hinge.
A hinge.
Yeah.
So it's just a hinge. Welcome to my hinge. Hey guys, want to come to my hinge?
It's not your hinge. It's my hinge.
Oh, welcome to Peter's
But
hinge.
you said my hinge.
My hinge. Well, I was speaking for you.
Right. All right. Yeah. And I've been working on it for a couple of years, pretty much by myself, just with iron bar and come along and log chain. But a couple of times I had some guys come help me. Really great guys that actually went to Doyle. A couple of them, yeah. And they were into it. They were totally into it. They totally got it because they're Mexican, and they're still very much in touch with that. and they get the idea of constructing something sacred. They've seen it's in their blood, man. They've
Yeah.
seen it, so they recognize it. A lot of people come and they don't see anything. You know, it's like a weird thing. But these guys, uh, uh, Arturo and they totally see it, and they like coming back here. They like. They would like to come all the time because they're so into it, you know. And plus, they're really into the physicality of working with these boulders. You know, these, I don't know how much they weigh, but some of these things are immense. And these guys are ingenious about how to lever, throw in rocks, use iron bars, come alongs and stuff. They're really ingenious to move things that, you know, they're just like, they're not very cooperative, you know. They've been in their place for a long time. And essentially, we had to convince them to join in to something that perhaps they would contribute a meaning to. And that's kind of what I did and what I continued to do. And but people have come here and they've seen things that I didn't see. That's what's so interesting. My friend Mike Roberts came here one time and he looked over there and he said, "That's a keyhole," and I had never seen it that way. And that's kind of the theme, you know. It's a portal. It's a keyhole to another consciousness. It's a all this is about a journey and many all the paths. There's multiple paths. This is not like a what do you call it, a maze? No, a labyrinth, where there's a predetermined route and a predetermined end. Here, there is no predetermined route and there is no end.
Right. Yeah. That's
Yeah, so
especially like how you have all these paths. You know, you take one and it really leads you nowhere. Right?
yeah.
It leads you nowhere, but I think it takes someone that's actually taking some time to the path. What I got from it was whichever path you choose, it would be different. You need to find its own meaning in that path, right?
Yeah.
That's how I took it in, you know.
Yeah.
And I also like how you said that these boulders that they didn't want to be part of anything, but now they are. But you helped them maneuver. You maneuvered them in a way to where they were part of something, something bigger. So why did you choose that verbiage? Like, why
Well,
did you give?
a lot of them were not up. They were dug in. I had to dig them out. Like this one. This one I'm going to dig out one of these days and stand it up. So,
Okay.
you know, not all of these, but maybe a third of these boulders were buried and just like a little nose sticking up, you know. So I start prying away, moving away and digging away, and then get to where I could get a chain under them. And no, it took a lot of wonderful physical engagement with this place, you know.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's all about. This is like the intense physical engagement with a place. And then you start to, like Mike pointing things out, then you start to see things that I didn't see at first. You invest in something that has meaning, and then it's like peels back the layers, and you go deeper and you see things that you didn't see before. Like you guys helped me the other day. I hadn't thought, you know, a year ago, I never thought I'd go over there, be working over there. I thought this was it. But it keeps, because you go deeper, you see more, and you see more possibilities, and you see, well, it's, in a way, it kind of builds itself because it kind of directs me where to go, kind of. But as you say, it really goes nowhere. Nothing goes anywhere. But that's that quote down there from Carlos Castaneda, is that all paths lead nowhere, but what matters is to follow a path with a heart. That's something I read, geez, when I was probably 21 years old, and it's like stuck in me.
Right. I like that quote, and I love how you said you got to follow the path of the heart. Right.
Yeah, that's not me. That's
I
Carlos Castaneda,
right.
Don Juan. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. But you're following your heart, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So
yeah.
just give me some background of how you started, where you grew up in, and just for the people that don't know, I just want to know what molded you to be the man that you are now, the elder in our community.
Oh boy, I was a pretty regular cut and dry person until, but then along the way, you meet people and they give you a nudge. And I've met a few people that have made a difference in my life and helped me find a path and encouraged me on it, even though it was a path that was very convoluted and very isolating, uh, a lot of isolation and remote, very remote, but always like getting deeper and closer in contact with the earth, with things of the earth, with creation, with like this whole thing I built. Essentially, it expresses reverence and gratitude to creation. We've lived here 40 years, and I don't know how many people are fortunate enough to find their place where they belong, especially in our culture where, people are they're not grounded at all. But I've lived with people who are very, very grounded in where they're from, and it helps them define who they are. And in our culture, I think it's a huge struggle because we're not grounded in a place. We don't recognize the sanctity of place. Then we're forced to, find ourselves, find our purpose, find and for many people, most of humanity, most of history, they haven't, they understand their purpose. They're
Yeah.
not that different from uh, the animals and the plants and the rest of the sentient beings. The closer they are to the earth, the less struggle they have with defining and finding who they are. Uh, I don't know, I've lived with those people, but I'm not them, so I can't really tell because how much do we reveal of
Yeah.
ourselves and stuff? I don't know, but that's the impression I got. So
Right.
there.
So you took, you know, these learnings from, or these teachings from elders, right? Or other
Well,
people that were
not
guiding.
necessarily elders. One was some people my age.
Ah,
Uh, uh, and some places have spoken to me,
right.
have given me lessons, and continue to do so. The river is just like a continual teacher, the best teacher. The river is the best teacher, I'd say. And
So I wanna, I wanna know. To me, you're a earthy guy. You know, I
yeah,
feel like your
yeah,
spirituality is in earth, in
yeah,
nature,
yeah,
in Mother Earth,
yeah.
right? And you were, I, it's kind of hard for me to, but to me, it seems like you're in the spot that you're meant to be right now. You know, I didn't know you back then, but you're so happy, and to me, you're
Yeah.
happy. You feel full of life. You
Wow.
feel good. You feel your energy that's coming off from you is positive. It's love. It's it. You know, it's it, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
Well,
what is there any like instance that happened in your life that just shocked you to your core and said like, "Fuck, dude, this is where it is. This is I have to change my path. I need to start loving the earth or start listening to nature, start listening to myself a bit more than what others are telling me."
yeah. I mean, I'm sure we all do, but I went through years of, struggle and loneliness, and yeah, I'm very fortunate to have ended up here for sure. And an interesting thing, I think I go too much into, my past and all that stuff, but when we bought this place, I came up here. We were living in Terabella, just renting a house in Orange Grove there, and I said, I got to get out of here, man. So I saw an ad in the paper and it said house by the river. So I came up here Wow, man, this place was just it
It
was
was it.
it. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
all that I wanted. And as I started to leave, I saw. Guess what I saw?
You saw an eagle. I saw a bird. A bird, blue jay, bird. No bird. Did it have wings? Did it have wings?
It's a bird. Of course, it
It's a
has
bird.
wings.
Oh, well, fuck! It's a bird. It's a condor. A blue jay. I already said blue jay.
Yeah.
Sparrow.
Oh God, you were. Yeah, I thought you were gonna get it.
I'm not a bird watcher. I'm
I
not
guess
50.
not. I guess not. But you're Mexican.
So I'm supposed to move these rocks for you, Doc?
No, Cheech and Chong. No,
Yeah, I like that,
not Cheech
dude.
and Chong. No, as I started to leave, a red-tailed hawk came up off the ground with a snake in his talons. You know what that
Whoa.
means, don't you?
That means, yeah, that's life. There's something
No,
here.
that's what the Aztecs. The Aztecs, for years and years, they were waiting for the sign of where to settle. They were a nomadic tribe.
Ah.
And they said they came from Aztlan, which is this here, Califas, California. And they meandered for generations and generations until they got to what is now Mexico City, Tenochtitlan. And that was the sign they were looking for. And if you look on the Mexican flag, there's an eagle with a serpent in its talons.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw here the first time I came to look at this place.
Right.
So you tell me.
That was a sign. That was a sign that this is your spot. This
Yeah.
is where you should build.
Yeah, but you know something? That's a weird thing is that's the second time that has happened. It also happened where we lived before.
Really?
Where we had been living in one place, and there was a place we really liked, and it was right on the river, and damn, we didn't go there, and there was a snake lifted out by a hawk's in its talons, and then we ended up getting that place. So the only two houses we've owned, we've had that sign.
Wow.
Cosmic, eh?
Yeah, that just goes back to how the universe talks to you, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was reading this book about like the like Freemasonry and stuff
Yeah,
like
I don't
that,
know much
and how
about that.
they interpret signs from nature and stuff, right? So what they said is like you have 3 seconds in from seeing something to give it meaning or just to leave it alone, right? And once you have to know what you're looking for. So you knew what you were looking for with that
No,
hawk pulling that.
no, I didn't. Well, I was looking for place because I think
Exactly.
as what I was saying earlier, what I think is that because of the way our civilization is, our culture, or that we, these trees and then real indigenous all sentient beings and indigenous people, they know their place, they're comfortable with their place, and we're not. So we have to find two things in life. Our journey essentially is a journey to find purpose and to find place, I think. There's other, of course, things to
Right.
search for too, but I think those have been crucial in my life. And
So
it took me far away.
yeah. So
Where
where?
I end up here,
Yeah.
that's what's crazy.
It brought
But they
you
all
back
led. It
down.
was like the dots were connected. And for some reason, this was the final destination. It's weird.
Mm.
It makes sense, but at the time, it was like confusing and it didn't make sense at the time.
Right.
Now, in retrospect, makes sense.
Makes sense, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Everything makes sense somehow.
Not always, and it didn't
Not
for
always?
many years. Oh God, I couldn't make heads or tails out of purpose or place or anything. It was just the journey. I just knew I had to keep going.
Yeah.
How do you get I was no going back. There was no going back to being a surfer boy in San Diego. I didn't.
That wasn't you?
Not anymore.
Nah. So you lived in San Diego?
Yeah, North County, San Diego.
North County, San Diego, and you were stealing surfboards and shit, dude?
No,
No.
I promise.
I have a few friends from over there, and they tell me they steal the surfboards from, and then they sell them up the coast, man. I could definitely see you with your beach blonde hair, dude.
Yeah, but you misinterpret totally. You misread me totally. To
I'm just
see.
messing with you, dude. It's okay, dude. I understand you didn't like.
I-
You know what's crazy about you, Pete, dude? I always thought, you know, you you speak Spanish very well. Um, and you're not Mexican, are you?
no,
You're not Mexican at all. You don't even have like one
nada,
hint.
nada.
That's crazy. Why did you fall in love? I feel like you love the culture, or you
Did you
just
get the films I sent you guys?
yeah, where they're banging the drums and stuff.
Yeah, but the Jarocho ones, the guys from Veracruz with the harp.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I wasn't able to
Oh, then
click
I
on that
sent you
one.
one of Wapangos from San Luis Potosi. Did you get them,
Oh yeah,
Pedro?
I saw that one. I
Did you
saw
get
that
the
one.
one with the guy Jarochos, the Veracruzanos? That's so sweet. I love that. Those guys are.
Yeah. So so you, but why do you love it? Like,
Why do I love it? Oh well, there's something there to have a more intense, intimate relationship with the earth. That's what attracted me, appealed to me. And I've lived with people who are really uh, indigenous in every sense of the word, and in deep contact with the earth, and within consequently with all the myths and the mythology and the scariness and everything else, and the wonder and the reverence, all that stuff. So it makes an impression on someone who, I was raised in the Episcopal Church.
in what
I
church?
was an altar boy, and
You're an altar
you
boy.
think I was a thief? I was an altar boy.
You're
And
you're stealing the dollars from the basket to pay
No,
for your
no, see, there you go.
surfboards.
There you go.
No, I know you're a good
No.
guy. I know that you went into the confessional with the priest by
Good,
yourself.
that was the word for today, confession.
Confession, yeah,
Remember?
it was. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
I
our word for
remember.
the day, confession.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's good. Man, so you're an earth person.
yeah, but I think I had nudgings along the way when I was young. I used to work on a Japanese truck farm, so I got to know that the same family would come up from Guanajuato and work there. And then that year we lived in Mexico, Rhonda and I, we went to their rancho. We went to their ejido. It was so cool and stayed with them.
So Rhonda's your wife.
Yeah, Carmen and Marcelino. And it was just amazing, because you get up in the morning, you'd have breakfast at Carmen's house, and then you'd have to go have breakfast at Marcelino's house. And then, they were just so hospitable. And, these people, they didn't even have outhouses. You'd take a dump, you'd take it out in a hog pen, and the hogs would eat your
poop.
defecation. Yeah, it was like so primitive. But these are very giving people and very musical. They'd harmonize so beautifully. So that was kind of like one thing that got me into Mexican, not just Mexican culture, but Latin American
Latin American.
culture. Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, but it has its good side and its bad side, like everything else.
Yeah,
I was just like,
like
I'm not
everything
trying to
else.
paint some glorified version of it.
Nah.
I've been pulled off buses in Mexico and searched and shit.
Oh yeah, 110%. I just want to see how
Yeah.
much church money you took.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just build a timeline, man. So you were born in California. Where were you born?
Why did you say California?
Cause well, that's what I was assuming. So where were you born?
Oregon.
Oregon?
I'm a duck.
You're a duck, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
A beaver.
A beaver?
Yeah.
You're a beaver duck. A duck beaver.
A beaver. Yeah.
So Oregon. Oh, so from Oregon you moved down to California. No, where'd you go?
Who's telling this story? You or me?
All right. Well, you know what? You give me a timeline, and then I'll stop you along the way.
I don't know. My dad was in the Air Force, so we moved around quite a bit. Lived in
True patriot.
he was Alabama and Virginia and Texas. Yeah, we moved around when I was little.
Mm.
Yeah, I can remember in the South then. I can remember the blacks only, whites only bathrooms and water fountains.
No
Oh
way. So
yeah,
you were around for like Jim
I was
Crow,
small.
huh?
Yeah, I was small, but I remember that made an impression on me. And my mom was from Louisiana, so that stuff's like very embedded in her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
How did that like form you? Because you don't give me any hint of like you don't seem racist to me. I mean, the only I mean you live up in Springville, but but you don't give me
Well,
any sense of racism. Like that's crazy how that didn't like affect you
well, it
or
did affect me.
in what ways? Well,
It
yeah,
affected me just like because I remember back on it. So I mean that's kind of a, a a representation of the inequity and the prejudice. And I have a graphic. It's not a storybook thing for me. I saw it. I lived it.
right.
You know, I was little, but I remember it. It's one of the first things I can remember. It was like kind of weird. I was like maybe 4 or something like that.
Yeah, it's like when your body gets consciousness, huh?
I guess something like that will shock you. Those
Wow.
those those I call when I write. I call those, and I'm copying from Violeta Parra, the Spanish singer and poet, and she sings one song about momentos fecundos or instante fecundo. I think she kind of changes the different versions of the song, and those are those moments that are so alive and full and powerful that they make an indelible impression on you.
Mm.
And you know, we move ideally because every moment has the potential to make a everlasting impression on you. But how present are we to see it? I mean, like I was up here today looking around. I was just like really seeing the explosion of springtime. You know, it's like it's like really going off. And I was one. You know, it sounds kind of hokey. I was one with it. I was like here. I was like, wow, man, it's happening right here. And the flowers bloom, the poppies, the lupin, uh, and the lizards are gone all over the place. You know, it's like, whoa, boy,
It started, huh?
it
It's
started.
starting. Life is
Yeah,
starting all
yeah,
over
yeah.
again.
Life is starting again, and like those palo verde trees are putting out new leaves and stuff. I mean, that's one thing. You know, everything there's always we're always in transition. Everything that's just part of the name of the game is we're always everything is in a state of transformation, whether or not you realize it or not. If you realize it, then you can become a part of that transformation, be conscious of transformation.
Right. That's whenever you practice being present in the now.
Yeah,
Right. Whenever you're able to be at peace
yeah.
with yourself and not look forward into the future or at your past, but when you're actually present, you're able to actually notice things that are happening right in front of you.
So that is a momento fecundo, a fecund. That fecund means like full, bursting with life
Mhm.
moment. And that doesn't just have to be the snap of a finger. Momento fecundo, I think, can be like a whole day or days, a week or a year or a whole period in your life.
Man, yeah, that's true.
But
That's
you
true.
can also have times of great darkness too. And of course, the times of darkness go into the field of the times of light, and the times of light go into the field of darkness. That's
Yes.
what's so interesting. You know, there's like no. I mean, at least I haven't experienced anything different because
No.
as good as I have it here, and sometimes I think, what did I do to deserve this, and what did I do to be healthy and have a family like I have, and live by this river, and all this stuff that we do, and why do I deserve that? Because I know, you know, people my age, they're dead, man, or they're dying, or
Yeah.
they're going through a bad time, and I know it's inevitable. But that just makes this moment so much more precious. And you have to breathe life into it, and you have to recognize the life that's there and breathe it in. It's this exchange, like breath. They always talk about in yoga, breath, your breath. You inhale for 4, you hold it, you exhale for 4. It's restorative, it's calming. But I think we also have to realize that right now, there's a universal breath going on. These trees are absorbing the light of the sun. They're taking in the light and heat of the sun. They're sucking up the moisture, and they're breathing out, and we're taking it in.
That's called
So,
photosynthesis, right?
yeah.
I know some shit.
You shit, man. I've always said that. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Sal, what do you think about Sal? He knows shit, man.
Yeah, I know some
That
shit.
guy, he knows some shit.
I know that.
Photosynthesis, it just rolled off his tongue, didn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know much about the Jim Crow stuff, but yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, but I do like how you're present enough to realize that, right?
Well, yeah, but it was in a momento fecundo when I realized that the breath is much bigger than just my breath. There's a universal breath going on, and it's really cool to be a part of it,
Yeah.
to be conscious of it. It's like, whoa, man.
You know, just to go like a little bit deeper into that, I think that the world, like the time that we're moving in, is kind of like a helix, like a DNA helix. You know, and
Ah, you're going pretty scientific on me here. Yeah.
yeah. So like no, but seriously though, like a DNA helix, right? And then at times of like peace and like Renaissance and stuff, we're the farthest away from where the helixes meet, right?
Wow.
And right now we're kind of in a downward, we're about to where the points are about to meet, and whether that be war, death, or destruction, there's something beautiful gonna happen.
Those are all pretty synonymous.
Yeah.
War, death, destruction.
Yeah. So but without death or destruction or pain and suffering, you don't really have time. Without that, you won't really know what love is. You won't be able to appreciate that, And then that's whenever that helix comes out of the moment that they're touching, and they go out, and then they have that time to separate, and that's when times are able to grow. And like spring, it happens faster in like these nature and stuff, I would say, but it seems like the universe has this crazy way of always fixing itself, I would say. And it would let it like a phoenix, it'll burn itself down to rise up again. You know? That's a way how I interpret it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's that same, death and life. They're parts of the same equation. And I mean, we're looking at it here. These leaves that have dropped, this that's going to flower right now, but it's going to die. But before it dies, it's going to leave its seed, and it'll be here again next year. But there's this constant cycle going on. It's the cycle of the breath, but it's the cycle of life. It's the cycle of the river. The river's like the rivers are like the capillaries and the blood vessels and arteries of the earth. And to step back and try and have that vision of that entirety of all the rivers flowing down from all the mountains all over the earth. And they are part of the living, breathing, bringing nutrients, recycling nutrients, This is happening all the time. And the more we appreciate it and are grateful for it, the better our lives are fuller, because we feel connected to it.
Yeah.
We don't see separation. That was the whole Garden of Eden thing, right? It was a separation.
The Garden of Eden. That's where Adam and Eve they decided to take a bite of the apple, right? Now, I haven't read the Bible, so I'm not really well versed in it.
I guess not. Anybody who knows photosynthesis, you would think they would know about and
Dude.
and DNA. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, well, I
I
know,
didn't realize.
I know some stuff,
Yeah,
man.
you know shit. We already talked about that. We
I
already,
know some shit.
we already had that discussion.
Oh
Oh,
man, my
so he
leg.
knows some shit, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know the fucking Bible. Jesus, man.
You know some shit.
I know Buddha was
You
kind
know,
of fat.
No, yeah. So they were kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and that's so there. So why what did that was that connected with something we were talking about? This whole thing about being separate from creation, and not a part of creation. That's friggin' Christianity laid that trip on us.
Ah,
That we are separate. And we're not only separate, we're above creation. And we have all entitlements. We're entitled to be the Lord over the plants, the animals, the rivers, the sea. It gives us the right to exploit
mm,
the,
mm.
the all beings of the earth, and even human beings who according to our hierarchy, are lesser than we are. That's the whole.
That's
That's been going on forever. The
yeah.
whole colonial slavery. I mean, that's just like the history of humanity.
Yeah, that's such a trip to me, man. Like, if anything, especially like something like the Bible, I don't. God shouldn't expect people or want people to think more of of another. You should be. Everyone is equal. Everyone, whenever we all die, we all just become the same dirt. We all become the same bones.
Well, that's what you believe, but other people don't believe that. They believe they're entitled to a everlasting life of, you know, in heaven. What I don't know what their heaven is. Whatever they imagine their heaven to be. Around here, it's probably AK-47s and chewing tobacco and stuff like
That's
that.
right.
But
Man,
yeah, so
I
this whole thing about being separate. That's the
yeah.
other thing that's I realize is very important is the thing about connection, to try and connect with, like I say, this I think is a sacred place. And there are many sacred places all over the world, and humans have recognized that, and they've built henges, shall we call it, or cathedrals or shrines on those sacred places all over the world. And they build them up, and then they get taken down by some kind of catastrophic event, earthquake or flood or something, and they build them back up on that same spot because there's some kind of power there that people recognize. And I recognize that here, this place. And the thing is, this place is so special, and it just gives me the willies sometimes, because there's all those grinding stones up there, and we
Yeah.
find these obsidian chips all over. Every time we work in a garden, we find these obsidian chips. People lived right here for hundreds of years, for thousands of years, for maybe 10,000 years. There were people, generation after generation, living right here. And I've inherited that. I've walked into it. And I want to recognize that. I want to pay tribute to that, to them. And they were connected.
Yeah, they definitely.
They were connected, and it lasted a long time until they were, they were less than. They stood in the way of progress. They stood in the way of manifest destiny. They stood in the way of, divine intervention and all that stuff. So they're pushed aside, just like all the creatures were sacrificed and exploited, and that's the history of this country.
Yeah, America.
Like it or not, that's the history of this country. So anyway.
Oh man, that's a bomb right there, man. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason. What that reason is, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? You don't think things happen for a reason?
Things happen because of greed and and prejudice and well, reason. I wouldn't say there's a was the reason was to push all those people and all those creatures aside so we could build strip malls.
Yeah, for money.
Well,
That's
that's
wrong.
the reason. I mean, that stuff's gonna go down too.
Eventually
That's
it'll go
gonna go
down.
down. Yeah. Look at Corcoran now. Corcoran's gonna go underwater.
Corcoran's gonna go underwater.
Yeah, maybe in the prison
Oh yeah, the river will come back.
lake.
The lake,
Yeah,
Tulare Lake. Yeah, the lake will come back, man.
it has come back, but it might. That levee is pretty fragile out there, and this lake. There's still a ton of snow up there. Half the snow has not come down yet.
Wow.
No way.
Ooh.
That
It's gonna be
snow,
some good swimming.
that snow is 10 feet deep at the top.
Oh,
It's
nice.
it's the highest snowpack, and I've been up there a lot in the wintertime over the years.
Yeah, you ski a lot.
Yeah, I ski a lot.
Hey, that's rad, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, when did you start picking up skiing?
We started that kind of skiing. It's called telemark skiing. It's a very archaic type of skiing that hardly anybody does. And
What makes it
because
archaic?
nobody does it, because it's different. It's a different technique. And it's difficult.
Like what do you?
They
what do you
say, well, your heel is not fixed to the ski. You have a loose heel.
mean?
So when you turn, it's all in. You don't turn unless you have the proper technique.
Okay.
And it's we're all pretty much, those who do it or still around who do it. We're all pretty much self-taught, and each of us kind of has our own style of doing it because we're self-taught. And it's like Rhonda and I, we skied, like a dozen times in like 4 or 5 places this winter. And if we saw 1 or 2 other people telemark skiing, I mean, you go up and talk to them because nobody does it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. So you have a connection. Again, you have a
Yeah.
connection. Like, and you talk to other people. They come up and say, "Well, I used to telemark, but man, that's a workout. That's too hard." And blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean, yeah. And a lot of times, we climb the mountain before we ski down. Up here, yeah, there's no
Really?
chairlifts up here, up Jordan Peak or Slate Mountain or the Needles. We have to climb the mountain.
So you climbed all the way up there, you with skis strapped to your back?
No, you put skins on the bottom of your skis, and that enables you to climb the mountain.
What do you mean by skins? Like bear skins and shit?
Woolly mammoth? No, it's like a fur. It's a synthetic fur that you strap to the bottom of your skis, and it grips the snow.
Oh, okay.
If you didn't have that on, you would slide backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's how you climb up there.
That's how you
That's like a
climb.
sheath that you put on the bottom of the.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you get to
that's
the
cool.
top
It's like
and
a
you take
sock.
like a sock, but only on the bottom. And you get to the top. Well, I'm trying to make it clear to him. He knows shit, but you know everything.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Well, it's a sock that only goes on the bottom, but then it straps up on the top.
Yeah.
So then it's like a chancla.
But has no, 'cause there's an adhesive to it.
Oh.
It adheres. It has an adhesive. So anyway, yeah. So we've been doing that for our whole lives. Our daughter does it too. I'm really stoked that our daughter does
that's
it too.
nice.
Yeah, she's really good.
How many kids do you have?
I have
dude?
2.
You have 2 kids?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a son and a daughter.
Son and daughter, yeah.
Nice. Oh man, you have the white picket fence outside and stuff. I mean, you don't, but that's you're living the all-American dream, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. What have I done to deserve this?
Your
I don't-
ancestors been kicking people out of their land.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to drop it on you, dude. But we appreciate you.
It's all for a reason.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's what you said.
Yeah, it is.
All
So
right.
I could enjoy your fruits of your labor now.
You did. You had lunch.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know. You had lunch.
It-
You
I-
you
it
didn't
is-
say no to that fresh squoze juice, did you?
Oh no way,
No,
man!
no
Those
way.
you grew those oranges and those grapefruits right here
Yeah.
in your own backyard.
We did. We
you
did. We
know?
grow a lot of our food.
Yeah, man, it's super good.
Yeah.
It's self-sustaining.
Not totally, but
Nearly.
no, not even nearly. But
You're almost there.
Check. A, B, C, or D. A and B, C and D, or A and E. Fill in the bubble. Bubble it in.
Yeah.
No, but we always we have a garden and orchard going all the time, year round. It's great.
Nice.
That's another thing that we share. We both. Rhonda, she's like into it. She gets done.
Yeah, my wife likes building up the garden with me too. I recently put garden beds in my backyard. I got rid of
Yeah?
the fucking grass, man. I hate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I hate that shit, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna plant some tomatoes, plant some chives, plant some basil, plant
Yeah.
some pickle, cucumbers. Plant some pickles already. I'm just gonna water the cucumbers with vinegar and shit.
Plant some pickles, man. I never heard of that. That like this thing looks like a big pickle.
Yo, that's like you don't want to
Look at all those. Look at all those pickles. They're doing great.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, have you ever bit into a cactus just like that?
Yeah.
No way. Just like not cooked, just like trying to get some water out of it or something.
No, the wachuma gives a beautiful, sweet, sweet fruit, and it's full of a million little black seeds. Is it okay if I lay down like this?
Okay, if I take my shirt off?
Yeah. Hey, welcome to the real podcast.
Well, at this point, we're trying to think if maybe we're gonna bring it down so we can get you guys better than this.
Better in the angle.
Now you're just.
Now we're just.
You're at the very bottom.
Now we're just melting, dude.
Yeah. I'm melting. I'm melting. No, I have. The wachuma, when it gives this beautiful pink fruit, and it's pulpy inside. It tastes really good. It's really sweet, and it gives you a little buzz.
No way, like an energy buzz.
No, like an enlightenment buzz.
Oh, like a shift of consciousness.
Because that's the fruit of the San Pedro cactus.
And then that normally grows where?
Right here, that's what all this
Well, yeah.
stuff is. All these plants.
So the ones
That's a San Pedro, it's a wachuma cactus they're native to the Andes.
they're native to the Andes, and how'd you get them over here?
Well, I don't know, they grow all over here.
Oh, really?
They do, yeah. They're easy to plant. It's just like a pickle. You put them in the ground and
You think I could have one?
What?
You think I could have that? You think I could have one of those?
Yeah.
I want to put a cactus in my backyard.
Okay, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yo, you're fucking dope, dude. Hell yeah.
Oh, you want one too?
You get a cactus.
You can each have one. Un
Nice.
recuerdo.
Un recuerdo, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, hey,
Recuerdo
thank
para
you.
regresar.
Yeah. Right.
Hey.
Spanish and shit. So how do those fruits grow? They just grow on the top, or they just a ball?
Well, first they have this really dramatic flower. Big flower the size of your hand. And the bees love it. The bees come and they just like swim in it and walk in it. And they just roll in this flower. It's so beautiful. And one cactus will have like 20 of these giant flowers. A lot of them are white flowers, but some of the cactus have red flowers and orange flowers. I forget what other colors. But the big white ones are the ones that the bees love. And those are the ones that gives the wachuma fruit this beautiful, and doesn't have spines on it. The fruit of the wachuma doesn't have spines. Like a prickly pear, has spines. I don't like that.
I was getting confused. I was about to ask you that too. 'Cause
That's like nopales. Nopales,
No,
yeah.
I know the nopales, but then there's what we call them is tuna.
Yeah, tuna. That's yeah. But they have little spines. They have
Okay,
little-
so you're the fruit from
nothing, no spines.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then after that flower, it becomes a ball of some sorts, like an apple or some shit.
Well, it becomes a fruit. It's not an apple. I mean, it's a fruit, like an apple's a fruit of an apple tree.
Right, but like I'm just trying to get like see how it looks
It
in
looks,
my brain. Like I'm trying to get an image.
it's about this big.
Cool. It's pretty big.
I can show you one. I have some in the freezer.
Oh, yeah.
I'll show you one.
Oh, sick. I can't eat it frozen. Would it be like a nice frozen treat?
It would be probably.
Oh, whoa! Then we could go swimming. I don't know, might be too cold.
Oh,
Yo, you're not down to go swimming after this
the
party?
polar plunge.
Say no?
You haven't said no, huh?
To go swimming?
Yeah.
Plunge?
I'll strip down to my undies, dude.
Me too.
If you want me, I'll go naked.
Well, thing is, I mean, you guys can do it. It's the thing is, so you better go when it's warm.
Oh, yeah.
Is it cold?
Well, the water's freezing, but
The water is.
if you know, it's cold. It's real cold. I think when we did the polar plunge, I think Rhonda said it was 37 degrees.
Whoa! You guys got it freezing.
Yeah.
Man.
The water might have been not as cold as outside.
No, no, it was a pretty warm day. It was like 50. It was a bright day. Like it was nice.
Oh.
We had a fire though down there.
Oh, that's
We made
so
a fire,
sick.
and we had lunch.
Yeah.
But
That reminded me of the next
I think I told you like Matthew did it, and Eli did it, and
That's cool.
Andrew did it.
Man, you know, every time every whenever you say you have like these meetings of people, these group events and stuff, I just feel like it's so cool. It's like these new age hippies, man, and I like that. I like that. Not calling you a hippie unless you want to be called a hippie, but I wouldn't want to be
I don't
called a
think he wants to be
hippie.
called a new age hippie.
Wait, what would you want to? I'm not trying to put a title on you, but
How come you see it and he doesn't? No, I would. Yeah. Well, I told you that one time we have. First of all, we don't have those things very often. I think it'd be fun to have them, but it's not like we do it all the time. And they've evolved over the years, what they are, and also who comes. And but we play a lot of games too.
oh, nice board games.
No.
Like Mafia?
No.
Do
We
you guys
play-
play Operation?
We play badminton, we play Viking chess.
Viking
Oh,
chess. Wait,
what?
whoa. Explain that to me.
I can't explain. You got to play it. What?
Play spikeball?
Shut
No.
up, fool.
That's actually
Wha-
like an outdoor thing. It's cool.
what-
It's like outdoor tennis, where you play with 2 against 2, and it's like a big round circle, and you bounce it, and then the other player has to hit it, and you can just dive
This guy
around.
doesn't
People
have a
do it.
trampoline back here, dude.
No, it's not a trampoline. It's you bounce the ball off of it. It's like an arena.
Oh, that thing. I know that thing.
It's called
No.
Foursquare.
We haven't done that.
What?
No.
I want to know what Viking chess is. Why don't you
I
want
don't
to share?
No, I don't explain it.
That's mean, man.
Well,
That's not cool. I thought you were a hippie, dude.
Explaining shit.
I know. Yeah, weren't you a teacher?
I was a teacher, yeah.
Hey, you hated those kids, huh? Every single one of them.
Some There was a couple I didn't like.
Yeah. Dude,
So I wonder if you were at Doyle when I was there. You would have known. Mine was a classroom with a big mural and the mosaic all over it.
Yeah, with
Wow.
all the tiles.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was
When did
my
you
classroom.
leave? When did you retire?
That took us. That was almost like 10 years to make that mural. That wasn't one class. That was a whole succession of classes. It was all over the front and the back and the roof of outside my classroom.
So you had child labor, huh?
I did. Yeah, once you got to 6th grade, they put you to work. 6th graders got to work.
There's
In-
all these
in
these
my
Mexicans.
class. In my class every Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, you were the cool teacher,
every
huh?
Friday
Hey,
afternoon.
Like in
We work on the mural.
2004.
So when did you retire from teaching?
I don't know. I had a fight with the administration. They didn't
Yeah.
appreciate my
Didn't.
perspective.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
don't know.
it's all these suits, man.
Huh?
It was all the suits. That's what we call people that are in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Lames.
Yeah. I don't know. I worked for 24 and 3/4 years. I taught school, and
Wow.
I had accumulated sick leave, and I had to take it for some reason, and my sick leave ended, and the district told me, well, if in order to get my retire for 25 years, get my retirement, I had to go back to work. There was like 1 month left in the school or 6 weeks. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go back
Oh
because
man.
I took like 3 months of sick leave I had accumulated, something like that, 2 months, and I couldn't go back, man. It was just such a bummer, and it would have made a difference, like $500 a month or $700 a month. I don't forget how much. Had I gone back and finished off my 25 years and
Oh yeah.
Charlie, man, I forget.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. And Ron would say, "Go back. You can do it. You can do it." I said, "No, I can't do it."
Nah. I've
So
been
anyway,
chilling for
I
3
quit.
months.
But our kids were through college and our house was paid for. It's like,
Oh
yeah, we're
yeah.
good. We don't
You
need
don't
that
need that.
much.
Yeah. You know what? I love that. I love that greed hasn't took a hold of you, man. You know? I don't feel like, cuz if you're really truly a greedy person, you would have gone back for that extra month, you know.
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
Would
it
that
got
make
so
you mad?
bad. The teaching got so bad.
yeah.
I just could. You
There's
taught.
no way I would never do that.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Especially after such a layoff, where after you realize
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have no kids.
yeah. That's
Well, what's the
right.
hardest part of teaching?
Dealing with administration.
Hmm.
And
And then when dealing with the administration, would you say it's like they're telling you how to teach in that
yeah, like
aspect?
they knew better than I knew.
Oh, that's weird, huh?
Yeah, and also there was like some animosity with my peers.
They hated on you?
Yeah, I mean,
Why?
well, I did things differently.
You were the cool guy, huh?
It's different. We had a different way of learning.
What was
Uh,
your way of learning that? Why did they hate?
it was experiential. We
Oh.
learned by creating experiences, and then we would respond to those experiences. And a lot of it was done like a lot of the math was done outside on the sidewalk with chalk. The first week of school, I didn't even let the kids in the classroom. They could not go in the classroom. I had it all taped off with like caution tape. Do not enter, cannot go in.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need now, man.
I can't go in the classroom.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, but seriously,
Yeah,
we
but
need some
seriously.
out of the box like teaching, you know?
Yeah.
There's enough to put that much effort in
Y-
anymore.
You don't think anyone cares about the kids anymore, Peds?
Like that's a lot of effort to put in, like to have that thought out and for that to work.
Yeah, but because you got to think, okay, we're not going to the classroom, so what are we going to do?
Exactly. And
Well,
now you have
you know what I did? The first day of school, there'd be a bus waiting, and I'd take the kids up and we'd hike the Camp Nelson Trail. We go
Wow.
up to Camp Nelson, we hike along the Tule River, along through the redwoods. That was the first day of school. The second day of school, I would take them either to Granite Hills High School or the public pool in Porterville, and I teach them how to swim.
what the heck?
Wow.
Yeah.
You
We would spend all day there. I'd work with them, teaching them how to swim to get comfortable. These are kids who'd never been in the water before. Well, most of them. I was, yeah.
I know why they hated you, man.
And you know what?
I
You
know
what we
why
used to
they
do?
hated you.
We used to go down to the cafeteria when the cafeteria was empty. They had all the tables up. I used to put on that song, "We Don't Want No Education."
Yeah.
And the kids would take off their shoes. And they'd march around the classroom, up on the tables around the cafeteria, and they'd all sing that song. Teachers, leave those kids alone. Yeah, it was fun.
Wow.
Just hate on them because they're like, I want to be in Mr. Dunn's class.
Yeah, honestly, man, I
Yeah.
feel like my whole way of learning would have, would have changed if I had more teachers like you. I mean, you never taught me, but you know Mr. Wamner?
Yeah,
You know him?
yeah.
Dude, he was my favorite
Really?
teacher. Yeah, he was so
You had
cool.
him at kindergarten?
I think I think I had him for 3rd grade.
Did you go to Doyle?
Nah, I went to Vandalia.
Oh, he taught Vandalia too? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know his son, Michael.
Michael.
He was at the dance the other night.
no way.
The real tall guy. Real
Oh.
good-looking guy, super good-looking guy. He's an administrator now, but he's going back to the classroom next year.
Wow, that's cool. I like my favorite part of that of like him teaching was it didn't feel like he was teaching. It felt like he was more he was getting us to really work on it. Like one thing that really stuck in my head is that he had like he was teaching us about biology and how animals are different. And he says, "Well, I have these owls in front of my house and they eat the mice and stuff. And then these owls they spit out like a sack out of their mouth.
The
And they,
pellet.
the pellet, yeah. And he brought it in for us to do it. Dude, dude, that guy was so cool. I wish I could. You think you could get me in contact with him? I just want to say thank you.
He lives in California Hot Springs.
That's up the mountain.
The other mountain,
Oh,
California Hot Springs.
California Hot Springs. That's far, no?
Yeah,
How far?
an hour.
An hour? Oh, that's not that far. I could do that.
Yeah, you could.
Come
Yeah.
in car.
That'd be
Yeah,
great. He
come
would
to
love
car.
to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, his son Michael. His son Michael was the same class as my son, and they played water polo together.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah,
I tried
Michael's a really great guy.
Yeah, I tried swimming. That's good stuff. I tried
Swimming's important.
Yeah.
I think it has enriched my life. It's one thing I learned that's really enriched my life, and that's why I wanted these kids. And you know, a lot of those kids by the end of that one day at the pool, they were going at the Granite Hills High School. They go up on that high dive and jump off.
Yo, wow.
Yeah.
They have courage, man.
Well, that was
Yeah. Lack of fear, huh? Whenever you're young.
Well, I don't know if they were afraid,
Oh, really?
but you know, they faced their fear. They got up there and would jump off. Not all of them, but all of them got their heads wet. Some of them never. They were afraid to even open their eyes underwater. That was another thing. I thought, no, not only do you go under, but you're going to open your eyes and look around. And then you're going to, you know, be able to get from one side of the pool to the other. Somehow you have to do it.
Yeah. So when did you start realizing that swimming is important? Do you think it was whenever you started surfing in San
Yeah.
Diego?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. How did you even start surfing?
Well, there was like my high school, there was no swimming pool or anything because we were really close to the beach, San Diego and Encinitas. Everybody. That was a really interesting time because in those days, nobody had a parent who had surfed. It was brand new. It was brand
Oh,
new
that's
to our
sick.
generation.
Yeah.
We kind of defined it. We're talking 1965. It was like so new and people were just figuring it out.
Nice.
So you felt like you were on the cutting edge of something really different. And it was the parents didn't really understand it, you know. A lot of the parents were transplants from other parts of the country, moved to California to work in they worked down at Convair and you know, the what do you call it, the aeronautical aircraft industry.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of them were not beach people.
Yeah.
But I'm talking before Gidget, before the Beach Boys. I'm talking way back in the very beginning.
Like,
Well, not the very, very beginning, but
but like you were like kind of like the first wave where surfing
we were
was a
in
thing
the
to
first
No
wave.
pun intended, huh?
Yeah,
First
no,
wave.
yeah, no.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I was the vanguard, but yeah. I mean, like our older brothers and stuff. We had, you know, those of us with older brothers.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
How long did it take you to like be able to balance on the board and stuff?
Well, it was different in those days. They just had longboards, so they were heavy, bigger, and you know, 10 foot. So you had to be big enough. So now these kids, like my grandsons, started surfing there at like 4 and 5 years old because they're on short, light boards.
Oh wow.
But see, back when I was a kid, you really couldn't start till you're like in the 7th or 8th grade when you were big enough to deal with that big board.
Yeah. And you went in there without a wetsuit or anything?
No, they had shorty wetsuits, like short sleeve ones. They were not great. But the water, you know, water in San Diego warms up all
does it?
summer. Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, the water gets up to 70.
Whoa, you could actually swim.
Yeah, yeah. No, you don't need a wetsuit when the water's like that.
Oh, okay. Man. w- So 70-degree water
Yeah.
in San Diego? I had no idea.
That's in the, like until through September. Then it starts to cool down a little bit.
All right. And how long did you surf for?
Well, until I left to go to college.
So you went to
All
college?
through high
huh?
school, yeah.
Oh, okay. What college did you go to?
UC Davis.
UC Davis?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, you fucking lied to me, man. Remember you? I remember that you
Which
said
time?
you were.
My wife says I'm the biggest liar on the planet. Which time did I lie? I make my.
Yeah, dude, you
That's a,
told me you went to Stanford, dude.
I was bullshitting you guys that night. You believed it. I told
Man, you have a believable face,
all
dude.
that stuff was just bullshit.
Oh man.
I said I was a hand glider and all that stuff.
but, but
No, that's all bullshit.
you look like a hang glider,
Oh,
man.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Only the people. Oh, God, that was ridiculous. I was just saying a bunch of ridiculous stuff up there.
I wasn't ridiculous enough, man.
I didn't go to my kids. Our kids went to Stanford,
Oh.
but I didn't go to Stanford. Hell no,
So
man.
how was UC Davis back in those days?
It was a
What years did you go to UC Davis?
69. I went
Ooh.
1969. No, I'm sorry, 1965.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you were right there transitioning into the 70s, right?
yeah. I remember. 'Cause so I'm from North County, San Diego. You know, white, pretty much one enclave of Mexicans. So I go to Davis, white school, but it was like the first or second week of school there. They brought in a band to play. The most outrageous band, and I saw these guys the day before they played. They got there, and that was like an eye opening to see people like that. You know who they were?
No. Who?
Guess.
I'm assuming it was a black band, right?
No.
Fuck.
You haven't guessed one thing right all day.
I was about to say the Beatles, but I think they were too
Oh.
big.
No.
Was it the Doors?
No, but that's a good guess. It was Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. And who is more outrageous than Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention? Besides Janis Joplin and Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Oh,
No, the
man.
Mothers of Invention. I swear, I was just like, what? I couldn't believe these people. Well, Davis it wasn't for me. I didn't like school.
Fuck school, right?
I didn't like school. There was no purpose to it. I didn't learn anything. But I met one person who changed my life. One
Who was
person,
that?
a fellow named Doug Kaufman, who
Doug
was
Coffin? He
Doug,
changed?
Doug Kaufman. He was just very enlightened,
Hippie dude?
self-taught, way beyond the hippies.
Oh, wow.
He was in another realm.
And then you met him.
Nobody.
You met him
At Davis.
at Davis, so he was a student there as well.
Yeah, he was a student. He was my age.
Oh, okay. Cool.
We were same class.
Nice. So what did you learn from him?
That there's different ways of seeing the world.
Nice. So he kind of opened your eyes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In what ways? He gave you a tab of acid, huh?
No, we would we go out and there was a creek there, Pewter Creek, and we actually I spent as much time crawling around that creek bed as I did in school.
Really?
Because I learned so much. He was like a self-taught linguist, a self-taught botanist, self-taught artist, an incredible musician. But he was a very tormented by demons. He had a very difficult time. He was not a well-adjusted person. But you got him into a creative environment or a natural environment, and he just clicked with it.
Yeah, that's how most tortured souls are, man. They just find a way to release, you know?
Yeah.
To really truly express themselves, and especially like in an artsy way, and maybe even in that nature way. But he showed you what so he opened your eyes on how to look at her different, right? And when I say her, I mean Earth, you know? Look at life.
Yeah, but not in those terms, not in some kind of corny academic way. Just by getting on your hands and knees and just marveling at, like he was really into butterflies. He knew so much about butterflies and birds. Not because it was a field of study just because he felt a kinship with those creatures. He felt a kinship with the creatures of the earth.
Mm.
That's why.
And then that's how you became
Yeah,
a
oh
little
yeah. I mean, it's like I just, as you said, yeah, you opened my eyes to that. I wasn't raised with that. I
bit.
didn't, and I've tried to pass that on to my children and my grandchildren, too. It's important to me, and as an elder, come back to
Yeah.
that thing about you have a you have a realization that you're an elder in the community, and I feel there's a certain responsibility to being an elder. It is in lots of cultures. Why isn't it here? Why don't elders have
A bigger.
an arena? Have I don't know, an arena. That's not what I want to say, but
Would you say
have the
like,
opportunity
ah,
to you go through life. What have you learned? What do you know? What do you know that you can pass on that might be of value to somebody else and help them on this trail, on their path?
man,
So I think that's what I want to do
that's,
as an elder. Yeah. Well, that's what that film. That whole film was. You saw that film. It's
yeah.
like, look at me, man. There's my friend Dave. I'm 77 years old, and look at me, ripped, skinny.
That was sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's no joke.
Yeah. No, I saw it.
Yeah, you saw it.
Now
So-
now with you, I need to see it to believe it, man.
Yeah. So it's like, hey,
So you were in UC Davis.
yeah,
And then did you graduate or did you
yeah,
just?
I graduated.
Okay, sick. So you graduated, and then after that, what did you do? After like having a more appreciation of Earth and the creatures on it,
I went in the Peace Corps.
and you went into the Peace Corps.
That's what I said.
Fuck, how was that?
Lonely.
Lonely? Really? I
Yeah.
thought like people in the Peace Corps would all hang out and sing kumbayas next to the campfire and shit.
I lived in southern Chile on a Mapuche Indian reservation. There's no phone service. There was people rode horses. I had a horse. That's how you got around.
Wow.
And in our
What
that
kind of
province,
horse did you have? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
what
cut you
kind of
off.
what?
What kind of horse did you have? Like what
I
color
don't
was
know.
it? Was it cool?
A
Was it cool?
Chilean horse,
Was it a chestnut horse? What kind of coat did it have?
brown, a furry,
That's
hairy
tight.
coat.
That's cool, man. I just like that because I always wanted to have a horse that I could ride around. So you would ride
Yeah.
around your horse down to the market, the general store?
No, you've been watching too many movies, man.
I've been playing a lot of Red Dead.
Whatever that is. No, because there were some other Peace Corps volunteers in that province, but there was no way to correspond with if we would meet up in the provincial capital, Temuco, it was almost by accident because there's no way to plan. There's no way to communicate. It's not like now where people have phones and stuff. Not even the little towns had phones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were out there, were you even sending letters or what, smoke
I sent
signals?
letters, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Areograms, yeah. Send letters.
Ah.
It was great.
You had pigeons and stuff.
Pigeons,
That's
yeah.
funny. Got little hawks. You were training butterflies to hold your messages. So then from Chile, you joined the Peace Corps out of UC Davis. Do they pay you in the Peace Corps?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Do they pay you pretty well?
Well, for down there, when those people had nothing, I was like rolling in dough.
Yeah.
They paid, I think it was like $100 a month.
That's all?
Yeah, like $100 a month.
But back then it was a lot, right?
There it was.
Uh,
It was more than I needed. You didn't
That's
need
how
much.
they get you, huh?
Huh?
That's how they get you.
What do you mean?
They just gave you just enough for where you were.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what were you even doing in the Peace Corps?
Trying to figure myself out. Trying to figure out. Find a purpose.
Nice.
Find a place.
Find it.
Find it.
You're trying to find it, yeah. Hell yeah.
And I tell you, it is a very evasive,
Yeah.
little squirmy little son of a bitch to find and keep and hold on to.
Ex-
Once you think you have it, it's like Tinkerbell, man. Off it flies.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
So you were in Chile trying to trying to find it, and then you didn't find it in Chile.
Well, I found no, I didn't find it, but I realized that I was on a path toward it.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
then you started to feel kind of your feet underneath you. You started finding your feet. You started trying to find. You started to recognize the path.
I recognized what seemed authentic.
And what was that?
This being connected with the earth, the Indians, the Mapuche Indians. I mean, they lived hand to mouth off the land.
I like that. I like that.
So it's tough.
I bet you it's a lot of like labor.
It's all labor, and you live in a, Chile, southern Chile is very, very rains. It's cold. People just live in thatched homes. The mud is up to your friggin' ankles.
Wow.
It's rough. And if people, they go to town, and they go in carreta, sale una carreta, a wagon
Yeah.
with 2 oxen.
Wow.
It take them hours to get to town. They get their wheat milled into flour. Then they go home, back out to the country, and by then night. It's dark, pitch black. So there they are. It's a good thing the oxen knew the way home, because unfortunately the Indians would come to town and get rip roaring drunk. It's tragic.
Just get super drunk in town. They couldn't even find their way home, so they relied on
They
the
couldn't
ox.
walk.
They couldn't walk.
They get so drunk, yeah, they passed out in the ox cart.
Do you ever get drunk out there with them?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Well, I mean, they drank the wine. The drank wine was the chicha, or wine. It was horrible, and the beer was awful.
It wasn't like Budweiser. You look like
Yeah.
a Budweiser guy to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really drink there
didn't
that
drink?
much. Well, I mean, I drink, but I didn't get drunk.
So you were in Chile like for what until 70 when 1970.
I was there 3 years.
So
2 years in Peace Corps, and then I stayed another year.
oh, okay. Oh.
So I just kind of moved around, lived with people I'd known, had met, and then there was an American guy down there who had bought a little farm. He was a Harvard graduate,
Wow.
and he had a little farm, and I went and lived with him. That was great.
What kind of crazy stuff did you get into with a Harvard graduate? Did you guys just talk about theories and?
No, I learned a lot. He was like he was from the East Coast, and he was really into Thoreau. He really got me. I had read Thoreau. I had really great English teachers in high school, and Thoreau we read as juniors. But my friend John, he'd read all of Thoreau, and he really had a bond with the guy.
Hmm.
So that's one thing. John's a writer. He's written quite a few novels. He lives in Athens, Ohio now.
Oh.
A very literate person, very, very literate person, very articulate person, but also of the earth, very much of the earth.
Okay.
Working with his hands, building his house, building his everything. He had a couple horses, he had a couple cows. We'd milk the cows, and he had a garden and orchard, and
Man,
yeah.
I was up in Chile,
down in Chile.
down in Chile, and you met a Harvard graduate,
Yeah.
and he taught you more about Earth. What did you say he was teaching you, or he was just like kind of just showing you?
Well, he wasn't teaching me intentionally. He wasn't teaching me
You see, he was-
intentionally. He didn't. He wasn't my guru. He didn't, have that relationship. I mean, we just used to screw around and have a good time
Nice.
and work hard, work together, and laugh, and you know, he's a real funny guy, and but he related. He spoke excellent Spanish because he had been in the Peace Corps too in El Salvador before, so he spoke really good Spanish, and he related really well with the campesinos, with the you know what a campesino is the peasants, the people of the land, the
People of the
farmers,
land,
the
yeah.
small farmers. John related with them. There were no Indians up where he lived. I had to live with the Indians. He lived. They were all Chilenos. But he knew he understood them and they understood him, and you know it was great.
You know what's cool that throughout your journey you've through like I think your journey really started probably in San Diego, right? Whenever you met your buddy, I forgot his name, but the one that loves the butterflies.
That was in Davis.
That was in Davis.
That wasn't San Diego.
Oh, well, that was in Davis, right? After San Diego,
Yeah,
you went to Davis. You met him,
yeah,
had fun. He taught you about the earth, and then that's whenever you started finding that like, man, maybe this is something that I want to pursue more. So then you joined the Peace Corps after.
yeah,
Then,
yeah,
then you were up there. We're down there in Chile,
yeah,
and then you met your Harvard graduate friend.
yeah,
He put you to work on the farm, and then
yeah.
he was sharing like books with you. What was the guy's name?
Thoreau.
Thoreau?
He wrote a book called Walden.
Walden?
Yeah,
Nice. I haven't read it.
yeah, it's a really important book
Why is it important?
because this is like in 1830 or 1840, and here's a guy who he was from Concord, Massachusetts, where the Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and all the transcendentalists were. This whole movement of enlightened people looking for enlightenment.
Oh.
And Thoreau was kind of a rebel, you know. He was like a part of that, but he wanted to do his own thing. And he went out and built a cabin on Walden Pond and lived for about a year out there. It's not like he was isolated out there. He used to go to town all the time. But he really got into finding a place, like being at one with a place. And he wrote about the simplest of things, you know, manual labor, working in his bean field, working with his house. Just his experience of living close to the earth. And the transcendentalists, you know, they were more academic,
Mm.
I would say.
Sick. So you were working with him. Then after that last year in Chile, where did you guys go? Where did you go?
I was by myself. I came back to the United States and I met Rhonda, and we went to Mexico. I told you we went to Mexico. We lived in Mexico City, which is a god awful place, but we
You
but
didn't even like the tacos there, dude?
we traveled around, and then we got married. Oh, there,
So you got married in 73?
73.
Yeah, I knew it. Because I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Saw it at the dad's.
You
man.
did, yeah.
Yeah, you guys stole the show.
That was her idea. That was a great idea because it
Yeah.
was a 70s dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was her idea.
awesome.
That was a great idea.
How was it growing up in the 70s? Well, not growing up, but being alive in the 70s. Well, yeah, kind of growing up in the 70s in Mexico.
Mexico City was chaotic.
Why do you say that? What made it chaotic?
Because the heart of Mexico City is, there's like 15 million people who live there. And it's smoggy, it's noisy, and it's congested, and it's, you have to kind of know where you go and where you don't go, where to stay away from and where not to, and yeah, I didn't like any parts. Like, you know, living in L.A. or something like that. But
Two city then.
yeah,
It's two cities.
but you know, L.A. is by car. But we call Mexico City is all by metro, subway. It wasn't for me. We lived pretty near the Chapultepec Park, so we could go up to the Museum of Anthropology, which was free on Sundays, and that was great.
Nice. What was inside there?
All the artifacts from all the different civilizations, the Mexican civilizations,
Oh,
the pre-Hispanic Mexican civilizations.
so that would be like the Aztecs and Mayans.
Yeah,
Okay. Nice.
yeah,
Was there anything more than the Aztecs and Mayans? 'Cause that's
yeah.
all I
There's
know.
also like displays of current indigenous people, their
Ah,
dress and crafts and things like that. But primarily, it's a museum. It's an anthropological museum, so that's pretty much. It's not a historical museum. It's an anthropology museum. It's just world class museum, and it was great because it was quiet. It was clean. You know, and the rest of Mexico City was chaos. I thought.
yeah, I bet you it is. I still want to go. I heard that it's sinking. Mexico City is sinking.
Yeah, it has been forever.
Oh man, that's horrible. Have you ever been to where the fuck is that place in Italy where the water is?
Venice.
Venice. Yeah, Venice is sinking too, man.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Venice is drying up. All those canals have dried up this year.
They are?
Yeah, the gondolas can't float.
Wow.
Europe's they had a horrible summer, dry summer last year. They had very little snow this year. Like the major rivers in Italy and France are dried up. They can barely do barge traffic on the Rhine and the Rhone because the rivers are so low. They're
Wow.
getting serious.
And that's how they transport a lot of goods
Yeah,
through.
on barges. Yeah, the Danube, the Rhone, those are all arteries for commerce,
Yeah.
and they're
Like
all
you said in the beginning, the rivers are the lifelines of the earth.
the capillaries and
Yeah.
the veins and the arteries of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, that's sick. So, so then, how old were you whenever you were living in Mexico and going through
25,
25?
24. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell.
So
Well, I was 26 when we got married, so I was probably 25, something like that.
nice. You didn't let getting married slow you down though, did you?
Well, I mean, it became we became a team. You know, Rhonda's a very outside. She's like really good athlete. She's very balanced and she's excellent at yoga. Uh, she's never taken a yoga class where the teacher hadn't asked her, "Could you substitute for me if I need it?" and stuff. Anyway, she's like really good and she's really comfortable outside. She's very comfortable doing physical things. She speaks really good Spanish. So she was game. She didn't know what she was doing. She was at college. She was taking like 6 gym classes. College. She got more out of college than I did. But she took dance classes and gymnastics and stuff like that because she knows how to use her physical being really well. And she thrives. Like, this mountain up here, that one you're looking at,
Yeah.
we climb that thing every other day. We climb to the top, to the flume up there, almost every other day. Yeah.
Yeah, probably
Have a
not.
podcast up there? It's a very special place
Why is it special?
because it was built like in 1910. It's been there forever. It brings water from the
Ah.
mountains. That's a source of water for the town. Source of hydroelectric power for the town, but it's burned up now. It's burned like 3 or 4 times in the last 10 years, so it's abandoned now. But we just had like a couple weeks ago our grandkids, 2 of the grandkids here, and Kalea, she's 5 years old. She hiked up there with us, and it takes I think it's 900 feet elevation gain or 1,000 feet elevation gain, so it's steep. And this is in 2 miles or less than 2 miles. Here's this little girl. She doesn't think twice about doing that. She's cool.
That's tight.
Our kids, our children, our two children, I think have done have done a really great job of raising their kids. Their kids are smart and they're game and they're funny and they're playful, and they're wonderful to be around. They come here and they thrive. They just eat this up, and it's been really important to, to our kids. Our daughter lives in the Bay Area, and our son lives in Encinitas, and it's always been really important for them to have their kids have this experience here, this river experience, this
Yeah.
mountain experience. Yeah.
This earth, this nature.
Yeah. I mean, they value it. They don't want to live here, but they value it. And it makes me feel good.
Makes you feel good, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that you've done a good job being a human, being a father?
I did my best.
You did your best.
Did my best.
I think you're doing a good job, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's a hard job. I did my, still trying. It's a life.
When did you have your first kid?
I was probably 28 or something like that.
28?
I'm not that good with numbers and dates and years and stuff. It's more or less. I was married in 1973. I was 26. And then Noni was born, like 3 years later or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
No.
Yes. So your kids were with you whenever your daughter was born first? So your daughter was with you whenever you were in Belize?
She was born there.
She was born in Belize?
Yeah.
Wow.
She was born at home.
Nice. How? No way.
Yeah.
You delivered her yourself?
No, we had a midwife.
Oh, you had a midwife? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you
But the same guy, Doug, the same guy who had been, I told you about from Davis, he came down with us and lived with us for several months, and he was there when Noni was born. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was great.
Yo.
He was an excellent musician. So he brought his fiddle, and then he could play. He would just be able to play with the because we were friends with a Kekchi family, and he was Juanical was the village musician. He played harp, and so Doug could play. He was such a good musician. He could play these Kekchi songs.
Nah.
Yeah, so cool.
So he picked up the rhythm and stuff?
Yeah, shit, a guy. He'd been Doug traveled all over the world, and he could play. He'd always take his instruments with him and just play with anybody. They take him home,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool way to live.
Yeah, it was
man.
great. Yeah, he had that down, and he was also a linguist, so he could pick up a language. Doug's he died a couple of years ago, and I
Rest in
went to
peace.
his service, and I talked to this guy who had been a Peace Corps volunteer in Nepal for 2 years, and then he lived in Davis, and he said, Doug went to Nepal, and in 2 months, he spoke Nepalese better than I did, having been there for 2 years.
Wow.
This guy could pick up languages like you wouldn't believe.
Man, no, I can't believe it because I've been around. I was in Korea, I was in Germany and stuff like that, and it was hard for me to even pick up some of the words. I
Yeah.
barely even remember any.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, it's like some people really, they have that that ability. Anyway, he did. So yeah, he came down when Noni was born. He was there. Yeah,
So then you were there in Belize for how many years?
8 years.
8 years. Wow. And then you were farming out there,
Farming,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And why'd you farm? Oh, because you wanted to be part of the earth, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's sick, man.
yeah.
Hey, before we go,
Uh,
you have this rockin' poem. You mind reciting it for us?
oh, I will.
Nice. We need the.
It's called Manifesto de un Viejo. Understand that?
Yep.
A manifest of an old man.
Yep.
The
Old man's manifesto.
Manifesto de un Viejo. And it's also called, I better pull my glasses. Okay, here we go. So, Manifesto de un Viejo. And it's also called The Will and the Ways of a Warrior, a personal prayer. Well, you guys know because I send out that thing all the time, right?
Yeah.
The, what is it called? Wake Up Warriors.
Wake
You
up, warriors, baby.
So I get up every morning, I read that book, and I find one. Oh, I'm going to send this one today, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The Will and the Ways of a Warrior, a personal prayer. And I really recommend to anybody, if somebody would ask me, what's one thing I should do in my life? I would say, you write your own personal prayer and you work on it and you continue. I've rewritten this thing a friggin' gazillion times. I'm always working on it, always changing as I understand things better, whatever. So that'd be, you ask me for free advice?
Yeah, free advice.
You write your own personal prayer.
You hear that, everybody?
Yeah.
Write your own personal prayer.
Yeah,
And now get ready for Peter Dutton's prayer.
that's right. As a warrior. Now, warrior, that comes from Carlos Castaneda. This whole idea of warriorship. It's also from the Bhagavad Gita, that the idea to struggle within to become who you are and all that stuff. So, as a warrior, not then, not there, not when, but right here, right now. En este momento fecundo, único, profundo, step by step, stroke by stroke, bite by bite, breath by breath, thought by thought, choice by choice, act by act, one harmonious, one hilarious, heartwarming, hair-raising, heartbreaking moment at a time. I dedicate this practice, this day, to my own awakening. As a warrior, I, the innermost eternal I, aspire to be open-minded and kind-hearted, committed, centered, at peace, at ease, composed, aware of the things I do and of what I say. I slow down, let down my guard, let down my hair, relax, release my jaw, loosen my grip, let go, unwind, intertwine my fingers in prayer, touch the earth or touch the ground. Breathe deeply, see clearly, look closely, listen carefully, feel intensely, think consciously, think freely, reflect on the sanctity of existence. You see how I'm working on it? You know, it's a mess, right? You see? It's kind of hard to follow on this page, especially anyway. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. Then, so, where's it go? Sorry about this. So rise up, reach up, but you have to touch the ground, okay? Rise up, reach up, pull up, push up, twist my shoulders, torso, wrists, strengthen, lengthen, stretch my toes, legs, arms, neck, my calloused hands, my bare feet, my spine, clear then expand my lungs, my mind, and eyes to the sky, salute the source of life, light, and energy, the sun. It clears up now. It's just that page I've been working on. As a warrior, a day at a time, as I have always done, I trek, hike, bike, climb, switchback, backpack, up, over, down, hill and dale, find and follow, with no particular predetermined route or destination in mind, not the word, but the way, and the fossilized tracks, the footprints, the footsteps of the ancient ones, my predecessors, my ancestors, those who came before, the seekers, seers, shaman, poets, prophets, clowns, troubadours, jokers, jesters, mimes, healers, heretics, misfits, mystics, magicians, musicians, sages, and their ghosts and shadows, who through the ages first blazed this no giving up, no turning around, mystical trail of self discovery, liberation, and self realization. And I remind myself with each breath, the authentic communion, that like them, I inhale the life force, benefit gifts, energy, and the illusory holy grail of existence that nourish and nurture my body, spirit, and the crucial core of my being. And then purposely, deliberately, with each breath, I exhale the divine trinity: gratitude, compassion, and generosity. As a warrior, en este momento, fecundo, único y profundo, in this once in a lifetime, one of a kind, one fleeting moment after another, in order to discover and know what matters most, as did Zeus, Odin, Thor, and their ghosts and shadows. I fight a no quarter given or taken back against the wall, win or take all civil war against my self inflicted thraldom, the oppression of my own depression, and the shackles of my attitude, ego, and surly, stubborn disposition. So, like a samurai, I aspire to be disciplined, productive, present, pay attention, and I'm determined right now, right here, to walk mindfully, reverently, and with resolve, one step at a time, where I've never stepped before, on our poor, mistreated, misused, much abused, much maligned Mother Earth, and to recognize, respect, and revere the dignity, diversity, divinity, and worth of each and every sentient being, my next of kin. Makes no difference how magnificent or insignificant they appear or may have been, that crawls, creeps, climbs, hops, walks, flies, slithers, swims, runs, grows, breeds, spreads its roots, casts its seeds under the moon and sun. And I have come to see that her infallible, unwritten, cosmic constitution of no waste and the give and take energy of yang and yin, of competition, cooperation, and connection cannot be broken, dismissed, or ignored, and that in the apparent cruelty, chaos, calamity, and storm of nature, there is harmony, balance, sustainability, absolute impartiality, and a never ending progression. No exceptions of cycles and exchanges of conception, life, death, decay, and in one form or another, believe what you like and call it what you may: resurrection, reincarnation, regeneration, and rebirth. As a warrior, step by step, breath by breath, I aspire to be at peace with, in awe of, and amazed at the beauty, blessings, bounty, the magic, the miracle, mystery, the wonders, workings, and ways of the world, and realize that each moment has the potential to make an everlasting impression, and that what's it? I got you. You weren't paying attention. It
I know
is
what it is.
easy to miss my own impermanent, evanescent good fortune. As a warrior, en este momento fecundo, único, profundo, I summon from the depths of my pagan imagination my merry band of mischievous therianthropes, wings and feathers and forked tongues, armored scales, spiked tails, hooked beaks, tusks, talons, hooves, horns, human heads and hands, who incessantly demand that I perform a whirling dervish, absorbed the Greek barbaric dance, and that I stomp, spin, whirl, leap, clap, drum, in order to become like them, conscious, connective, creative, and free, and that I rely on and abide by my most powerful allies and guides, the divine trinity: gratitude, compassion, generosity. That I heed the watchman named mindfulness, who relentlessly, continuously insists that absolute and forever freedom and happiness are to be found only by following the uncompromising road of unconditional surrender to forgiveness, and that thought by thought and choice by choice and act by act, I understand that, yes, I can and must contain the hurricane, the runaway freight train, the speeding Canadian coal train of rampaging, deranged, profane, wild thoughts that invade and degrade my already addled brain. As a warrior, I am focused on the task at hand, have no expectations of, and ask nothing of any child, woman, or man other than myself. And I am blessed with a powerful will and passionate, patient, resilient, playful, thoughtful, free spirited, strong, healthy, brave, and on occasion, in un momento fecundo profundo, eyes to the sky, can be absolutely silent and perfectly still. I am not weak, lazy, needy, stagnant, stupid, afraid, and refuse to, before I die, waste away, pine away, fiddle away my days, or leave any part of my life unlived. And so I do not make myself miserable, and know down deep inside that the strength of my character is determined by how I face uncertainty, obstacles, adversity, and how honestly I embrace my destiny and my fate. As a warrior, I aspire to be alert, alive, awake, am aware of, honor, and pay tribute to the ever present power, presence, essence of the great spirit of creation. I, the conscious I, live fully, wholeheartedly, on the edge, and when in the astonishingly resplendent night sky, Venus and Mars, the man and the moon, the shooting, exploding stars, and the great God Almighty constellations: Orion the hunter, Taurus the bull, Leo the lion, align and shine just so, just right. I reside and remain in a state of grace, in the deepest places of my heart, in the highest spaces of my brain, and in the sacred center of my most existential, essential true self. As a warrior, in this hair raising, heart stopping moment, mine is an epic quest like that of Bilbo Baggins and Gilgamesh and Galahad and Odysseus, both far afield and deep within, seeking clarity of purpose, place, perception, direction, and my own, not insatiable or irresponsible, but unselfish, indispensable, authentic needs. It is a one moment, one thought at a time crusade to sustain, feed, restrain, tame, rein in, and control my rowdy, rebellious, unruly mind, and to find and free my forever neglected, long forgotten soul. As a warrior, as a pilgrim, in this what could very well be my last make the most of it opportunity. I pursue the easy to lose, little known, sometimes precarious, sometimes ambiguous, overgrown road of my own design that breath by breath, step by step, as if each breath, each step mattered, made a difference, had consequences, and that weaves and wanders and winds its bewildering way into and through the heretofore, never before explored, hard to imagine, fathom, mysterious, glorious realms, realities, domains, dimensions of unexplained, otherworldly apparitions, of mind bending revelations, life changing transformations, and alternative ways of seeing, being, and believing. No, of course, I will never deny that it is a hazardous, arduous, poorly defined, no guarantees path I climb, sometimes as seemingly hopeless as Sisyphus, eternally, futilely rolling a boulder up the impossibly steep cliffs of Mount Olympus. A treacherous trail, one with its own kinds of pitfalls, potholes, delays, high risk, travails that at times dips down under into a baffling maze, a snarl of spines, roadblocks, landmines, then spirals, drops, spins around the black morass, an abyss of nightmares, hallucinations, shrinking rivers and lakes, rising seas, melting ice caps, squalls, gales, vanishing species, rogue waves, ground shaking thunder, booby traps, black holes, and a quagmire of confusion before backtracking about into a snake pit, a no man's land, a lion's den of overwhelming, all powerful, superhuman hero egos and their ghosts and shadows, then dead ends, descends, disappears into a toxic, muddy, murky bog, a daze of delusion, dismay, doubt, despair, fool's gold, and fear. See, I've had some dark times, man. You hear that? Finally, though, when all seems lost at last, by the grace of the gods, for some reason out of nowhere, the trail reappears, reemerges, bypasses, ignores, surges past old Yahweh's sword and spear wielding archangels, gargoyles, archons, and trespasses its circuitous way into an enchanted scene of gentle breeze, sunshine, clean air, leaf filtered light, the sweet, soothing melody of bird song, and meanders for miles under and between a towering, surreal canopy of dogwoods and redwoods, maidenhair and foxtail ferns, along the banks of a cascading, pristine, forever free flowing, singing alpine stream that welcomes the return of all outcasts, of all refugees with their free-wheeling, free-thinking wills, questions, philosophies, myths, curiosities, creativity, back to the land of Aphrodite, Bacchus and Pan, the Garden of Eden, the land of paradise found, of earthly delights, to eat again, once again, sin of sins, the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge. And so it is that as the morning mist and fog begin to clear, the trail gradually makes its way, bit by bit, twists, turns, slips down under, behind the ephemeral, enigmatic, magical, divine looking glass to the crossroads of decision, decision between contraction and expansion, between connection and separation, between competition and cooperation, resistance and resignation, and then passes through or not. The luminous door of serenity and peace, of that, the numinous gate of awe and wonder, and finally, by the sublime portal of transcendence and dreams into an always ever elusive, difficult to understand, beyond imagination, time and space, an alternative nether world, a never land of insight, inspiration, illumination, wisdom, grace, light, love, and bliss. Above all of this, though, mine is an underdog's against all odds odyssey of de-indoctrination, of liberation, liberation from judgment, prejudice, opinions, from manipulated wants, fabricated necessities, from societal and self imposed limitations, restrictions, conformities, from the oppression of authorities, prophecies, dogma, doctrine, theologies, ideologies, liberation from inconsequential obligations, distractions, conventions, trivialities, from superficial, artificial conversations, relations, and identities, from subjugation to and preoccupation with money, with time, with misguided ambitions and conditioning, with my perceived devils, demons, grudges, grievances, indignations, fixation on my childlike need for security, and an obsession with my destiny, legacy, and inevitable, inescapable, unavoidable mortality. Liberation from bad karma and bad joss, fear of future failure, loss, and pain, remorse for past transgressions and sins, from the torment of imaginary inadequacies, animosities, anxieties, and the curse and condemnation of eternal damnation, everlasting separation, and the negative vibrations, memories, personalities, energies, and their ghosts and shadows that clutter and cloud, confuse and control, harass and test, chain and tie my forever under siege beleaguered brain and hold hostage to my soul. Finally, in the end, right here, right now, eyes to the sky, as if each thought, each breath, each step was my last. En este momento fecundo, único, profundo, I aspire, as long as I am able, as best I can, to be strong like a warrior, and to live and to die like a man. I'm sorry about that one page. It's really
No, it's really nice.
I really got lost in it because I can't. I gotta fix it up. But
Man, thank you guys for listening to Table Talk with Sal. This was Peter Dutton's episode, and you're a warrior, man. You're awesome. I'm grateful for you and for everything you've done for the community, and I know this podcast is gonna reach the people it needs to reach. Thank you very much, brother man.
I don't do much for this community at all. Well, so here's
All
now,
right.
now. So Salvador, what is the Divine Trinity?
That was Table Talk with Sal, baby.
Ah,
That was
I
Table
knew
Talk
it.
with Sal. Thank you guys.